I said I had Coach Perrone as a health teacher, and I never had to use a teacher, but I did have you as an in-school suspension supervisor, and you did a great job following me there. But you came to town 92, something like that?
91, 92 school year.
91, 92. Did you know about Coach Perrone coming into town, or was he? Did you meet when he came to Rockford?
I met him at Harlem. I did not know him previously.
Did you know right away he was a legendary coach?
Well, Paul and I were both health teachers. So when they built that new building or the new addition over at the high school, our classrooms were pretty much right next to each other in that northeast wing. So, and we were pretty much isolated from the rest of the building. So we spent a lot of time together during lunch period and free periods and stuff. Not just talking about health, of course. We're talking basketball,
right,
most of the time.
Now, you were up. I'm affectionately calling that up there the coach's bullpen, where I like to keep all your coaches. And you're up there talking to Donnie Tresmer. Donnie Tresmer, the man you replaced
right,
coming into Harlem, the man that got Paul into the Nick 10. Did you have to win Paul over coming into the school? I mean, did he accept you? I mean, obviously he and Donnie are old friends, and now here comes the new sheriff in town. And
I knew Donnie. Donnie and I both went to Luther College out in Iowa, and Donnie was 2 years older than me. And I was working basketball camps when I was coaching at Augustana, and he would send some of his kids down to the camp at Augie. So I knew about Harlem and Donnie, of course, but I did not know Paul. Got to know him, obviously, after I was there. And then after I was there a couple of years, they sent me down to the junior high to teach a couple of years. I was pink-slipped and then brought back. And there was a guy down there named Don Allen, who was a real close friend of Paul Perrone's. And that's kind of where I got to know Paul. I think he was down at the junior high building when I first got there, I think. So that's where I really got to know Paul first, was when I was down at the middle school or junior high. But, Paul, we go back quite a while, but what a great guy. I mean, everybody knows his successes and the things that he's done. But anyway, we got to know each other that way.
Coach, when you guys get together, did you feed a lot of stories together, like offenses and defenses and stuff, or did you share that kind of stuff at the time?
Yeah, we would talk basketball a lot, yeah. I mean, he was always asking questions, but that's how you learn.
You guys coached together alongside him as the girls' side. You're the boys' side. How long at Harlem?
I was there, I think, 15 years. 12, 15 years.
Okay.
If I forget. When I left Harlem, I was over at Rock Valley for 5 years.
Three-pointer by East makes it a 50-10 game. Steve Gore came up here, and one of the first things he said is that I wonder Paul's got 500 wins. I never had a 30-0 lead in any game. Any 30-0 leads or deficits that you can remember?
Never. I just asked Donnie, did you ever had a game like this? No. I can never remember a game like this. No.
How do you keep your kids focused?
That's a good question. You just tell them to go out there and play man-to-man defense, do the best you can. But
what do you think has been about basketball in the area over the last 20, 25 years? Gotten better? Worse? What would you do to fix it? And that stuff? I heard you guys shooting off all the answers before you got on air up there.
No. Okay. No. I think basketball obviously has gotten a lot better. Look at what's going on in the Rockford Public Schools lately.
Absolutely.
And of course, Fred Van Vliet had a lot to do with that with Brian Ott's program over at Auburn. There's some great coaches in this area, in this league, and they've withstood the test of time. Roy Sackmaster, and consequently, kids have developed. They bought into the programs, and they're sticking around. And it's true. It's got a lot to do with trust. Trust in the program, trust in the philosophy, and trust in the coach. And look where it's getting them. And so there's basketball. To answer your question, I think it's gotten a lot better.
And it seems to be in this area more programs than not have a Paul Perrone, have an Ott, have a Sackmaster, have these long-standing traditions. Is that commonplace around the country? Is that a Rockford region thing where we stick to our own? How does this area compare to others that you've been, local basketball-wise?
I don't know if I can speak to all areas, but I always was envious of coaches that were down in the collar counties, the suburbs. When you were hired by an administration down there, you got to remember, a basketball coach is an administrator. He's going to run a program. He's going to do some things that aren't going to be popular with all the parents and all of the stakeholders, but at least you got the backing of the administration. And these guys in those suburban schools, they seem like they're there forever. They're not going to listen to the whims of the irate parents or anything like that. So they stick around a long time, and they reap the fruits of their efforts. You got to have that kind of consistency, and you got to kind of have that kind of belief in the program.
Clock now 3 minutes to go. Boiling up 54-12 here in the third period to play. Running clock.
You still doing mass timeouts in running clocks, Dave?
I don't think there is.
No?
Because I don't think the quarter's going to be over before they have a dead ball situation. Maybe. I don't know.
You're a big shooter, Coach Leix.
What? I'm a what?
You're a big shooter in the basketball community, as they say. Can you talk to somebody about these mass timeouts? I mean, we understand the point of them. We understand the spirit of the mass timeout, but however, when 0 people are wearing masks, you're making the whole thing rather farcical at the end of the day.
Well, the CDC or whatever it is probably has something to say about this too, and you got to follow the protocol.
Oh, absolutely.
Whether you like it or not. But I think it's all right.
Okay.
If I was a kid and I was out there wearing the mask all the time, I'd want a break. The coaches like them.
Coaches, yes, it's a free timeout. Yeah. It's a free timeout. So they're going to take one. The Boiling Titans up 40, 57-17. We'll take a quick timeout with them as well. You're listening to Friday Night Hoops, News Talk 1440 WROK.
At General Mills, we make food the world loves. Our Belvedere plan has immediate manufacturing openings for 12-hour shifts with pay rates of $18 to $20 per hour. Incredible benefits starting on your first day, including paid vacation, holiday pay, health benefits, and an annual incentive bonus. Human and food safety are a top priority, and we're operating during the pandemic while protecting our employees. Apply at careers.generalmills.com or text GenMills to 97211. General Mills is an equal opportunity employer.
Hi, this is Chef Mark Thompson from Thunder Bay. We are serving our bully base with a new twist that will just wow you. It's made with shrimps, scallops, clams, whitefish, and mussels, all cooked down in a rich broth. Or try the salmon Alfredo with a creamy Parmesan sauce. It's our twist on an Italian classic. Try our walleye, prepared either pan-fried or blackened. You're going to love Thunder Bay's exciting new menu as much as I do. Thunder Bay Grill, East State and Bell School Road, Rockford.
You're listening to high school basketball on News Talk 1440 WROK. Brought to you by Silgan Containers.
Welcome back to Boylan High School, where Coach Paul Perrone is going for win number 500 here against the East E-Rabs. Looks like he's got it under control with his Titans up 57-17 with about 2 minutes left to go here in the third quarter. Coach likes Coach Perrone going here for 500. Do you know how many you ended up with at the end of your career?
I really don't know. I couldn't even tell you. It was 300 something. I don't know. I coached for 40 years.
And Coach, talk about back in the day, you used to pick the ball up in November, put it down in March. You've got to play pretty much all year round, in this day and age now.
Oh, yeah, and it was that way back when I was at Harlan, in the 90s. It was that way. Some players or people maybe disagreed with that, but if you wanted to win and if you wanted to excel, it's a year-round sport. You have to, look at these AAU tournaments in year-round. You can't keep up if you don't do that. So,
are players more susceptible to injury with not having a so-called break?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so. If you're going to be if you're playing 3 sports and, you could get hurt playing football or any sport for that matter. I don't think so. I don't think there's a fatigue factor or anything like that. Stress fractures, I don't think so.
Okay.
Kids are pretty resilient.
I've heard.
And how important is a head coach as far as players? How do you get involved with the recruiting process for colleges that are wanting a senior high school player? Are the head coaches involved in helping that process along?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You know, when I was coaching, you'd make your phone calls. In the first place, you're going to get feeder letters from all these colleges. You know, I used to get hundreds of letters, you know, just to fill out the form and recommend any player. So you make your recommendations back to all the colleges that send you those letters. But at the same time, every head coach has got his network and his friends, and you know, you make the phone calls or the letter writing, and I used to make out resumes about my players and send the resumes out. Nowadays they're doing videos, you know, and they got agencies that take care of that for you. But I used to send out a resume on my players to the different colleges and stuff that they were interested in. But, you know, our phone calls.
Coach Leix, one more question before we get into the third quarter here. Paul Perrone having about 500 victories here. You spent a time or two, played a couple games in this gym. Do you have a memory of this gym? And I'm sure as a coach, a bad memory is going to pop up first. But what's the number one memory you think about playing in this gym?
Well, it was always packed. It was always standing room only. And always had, you know, Steve always had very good teams, obviously. We took some beatings here. But we did get them once at our place in a couple overtimes. And once we lost on a last-second shot at our place. And, of course, we got to host the sectional championship at our place against Boylan. So we had some pretty good ball games with Boylan. Yeah.
Good. That's good. As Coach Jim Leix, former Harlem varsity coach, spent a lot of time in the building with Paul Perrone, and thanks for joining us.
Can I say a couple more things about Paul?
Yeah, fire ahead.
I will say, you know, there's not a more benevolent, if that's the right word.
I think so.
You know, just he's kind, works hard. Look at all the charitable work he does, not just basketball, but what he does with the Red Ribbon and charitable work and fundraisers, and he's always concerned about kids. He was with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes organization, you know, at Harlem, and you can't say enough good things about what he does for kids and for people in the program. That and his sense of humor. He always loved. He had a great him and your dad.
Yeah,
Bill Gregg. Two guys that I know that laugh all the time, and I always envied them. You know, they found humor and everything, and he's kind of a prankster. He and Don Allen, they were always pulling pranks on one another. But you gotta love that. You know, they don't take yourself too serious or take life too serious. But Paul's a good man. He's a great man. You know, so I'm happy that he's been able to withstand things and be out here for 500 wins. You know, it's just great. Couldn't happen to a better man.
He's a good guy. Boylan leads this one 60-17.